Do you know that you can move to Canada and become a permanent resident at arrival using Caregiver program? If you have not heard about this, I'm about to discuss it and give you a full details on how you can achieve this. It's a new program that will be introduced late 2024, early 2025. If you have not watched the press conference by Mr. Miller, the Minister of Immigration in Canada, I will give you a little bit of the highlights. It's about 37 seconds. So watch this video and I will come back and give you details on how to prepare for this program, how to qualify for it, so that immediately it comes, it will be easy for you to apply and be ready and be ahead of other people. So stay tuned and thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel. In this channel, I will be giving you immigration tips and guiding you on so many things about Canada immigration, things that people will actually charge you for. I do it here all free of charge. So please stay tuned and watch this press conference. And once you're done, I will be back and explain things to you.
Residency. Today, I'm very pleased to announce that we are launching new pilots that will provide permanent residency status for caregivers as soon as they arrive in Canada. The biggest change coming in these new pilots will be providing a one-step immigration process. Before, caregivers first needed to get work permits and then obtain work experience before applying for permanent residency. Under the new rules, we're simplifying the process and providing them with a clear, straightforward pathway to stay and care for our loved ones.
All right, so you heard that directly from Mr. Miller, the Minister of Immigration in Canada. Just to give you a context, in 2019, Canada introduced a program. It's called Home Child Care Provider Pilot and Home Support Worker Pilot. Now, these two programs, the first one is that you will care for children, and the other one is you will care for older people or people with disability. Now, before that, for you to come to Canada as a caregiver, your employer needs to go through LMIA. That is Labor Market Impact Assessment. But fast forward to 2019, you do no longer need LMIA. You just need your employer to qualify by meeting the income requirement to sponsor you and also have children or have someone who need care in their home. Now, that program runs from 2019 to 2020 June 17. So in June 17 this year, the program closed. Now, that program, for you to come to Canada, you will first apply fully for permanent resident application. Then you also include work permit. So work permit, work restricted permit application. Now, you come with your spouse, come with your children. Your spouse will get open work permit. Your children can come here and study as well. If any of your children qualify for work permit, they will also get work permit. So they come here, study, and you work for 1 year. After 1 year, you will submit the requirement, and then you will get your permanent resident. Now, June this year, they reduced that requirement to 6 months. So now, you just need 6 months work experience, and then you submit, and that 6 months is both inside Canada and outside Canada. And I was thinking about it, and I do believe that the reason why they did this is because of the new program they're about to introduce. Because in that new program, you do no longer need work permit. You just apply directly for PR, and once you're coming in, you will be given a permanent resident on arrival, and you receive your permanent resident. So I was thinking that if they're going to give the new applicants a permanent resident in arrival, means they need to make sure that all the old applicants who are already in Canada all receive their PR as well, right? To be fair. So I do believe that's why they now reduce the requirement to 6 months. Now, I don't want to bore you with the old program that have closed, because I do know that most of you who are listening to me right now are those who are interested in coming to Canada as a PR, right? So you want to know about the new program and what you need to do to be ready to prepare, so that once that program comes into play, you're ready to submit your application and ready to go. Now, there are things I need you to consider on your own side, then I will talk about your employer. Okay? So, as an employee, this is things that you need to consider. One, you need to write English test. Now, they've reduced the requirements of English test to CLB 4. So, mostly for people that write IELTS, it's mostly probably like 4 cutoff, right? Please verify this, okay? And so, you do not need high mark on your English exam. But I don't encourage you to write your English right now. The reason I say that in the sense is that sometimes maybe you didn't get other requirements, and that English test, normally some of them stay for 2 years and they expire. So you can always write them at any time. You just need to do what? Prepare for it, study it, and be ready to write that English test once you're almost ready to submit your application. One thing that you need to consider is to evaluate your education. So this caregiver program will require you to have comparable of Canadian diploma. So your national diploma, high national diploma, or degree, you should be able to qualify to be a caregiver in Canada. So if you have those academic requirements, I advise you to apply to get it evaluated, right? So you can use West Education Service. You can use them to evaluate your education, and that will allow you, because I know that West do take time. Sometimes contacting your school, reaching out, getting those information may take time. So it is very important to start early to do this. I will put the West website under the comment section of this video. So please make sure you do that. That's actually what is required on your own side, right? Now, your employer, what is required from your employer is that they need to have children. I do believe it's under 13 years old, okay? Or they need to have someone in their house with disability or old person who is a permanent resident or Canadian citizen who need care. That's the first thing they need to qualify. The second thing they need is that they need to have the income that is enough to take care of their family and to be able to pay your salary. So that's the second thing they would need. So you need to, the person that is going to sponsor you, you need to know if that person meets the low income requirement plus your salary. And depending on the province, some of the average minimum wage in Canada is about $14, $15. So they can't pay you anything less than minimum wage. That's another thing you need to know. So who can be your employer? Your brother can be your employer. Your sister can be your employer. Your uncle, your auntie, your friend, strangers. Anyone can be your employer. And in this program, they do not need LMIA. Once they qualify, they have all these things that I mentioned: income, need for the care, and they are permanent resident or Canadian citizen, they can sponsor you. So the next thing you need to do as employee is to look for who will be your employer. Okay, so you need to find that out. Once you have an agreement with that person who is going to employ you, you can send them this video for them to understand what they require. So they need to meet the low income cutoff in Canada plus your salary. Okay, so if low income cutoff for their family with family of 4 is 40,000, they need that plus your salary. It could be your salary could be 25, 30,000 in a year. So add that, and they need to have that for straight of 3 years. So that shows you that that person must have been in Canada for at least 3 years and have filed tax for 3 years. Okay, so this information is important for you to know and prepare for this program. So according to Mr. Miller, this program will kick off late this year or early next year, because you're still trying to find out the transition method for those who have already applied under the previous program and they're still backlogged. And the reason why the backlog happened was because of the COVID, because that old program started in June 2019 and COVID hit, so there was a little bit of delay for most people. But I know a lot of people who applied and they're already in Canada and they're already submitting their form to qualify for PR. So this new program will give you permanent resident on arrival. Okay, So I will be discussing more on this. If you do have any question, please drop them on the comment section and I will be happy to answer them for you. But this new program, like I mentioned, to summarize, all you need is you need to evaluate your results and you need to study for your English test and be ready to write them anytime. And then you need to find an employer who is qualified by having kids that are age 13 below. Need to verify that, and that also have the income requirement to sponsor you. If you have both that, prepare yourself. Once that application is submitted correctly, you should be able to find yourself in Canada. Thank you for listening to me. Please subscribe to my channel. If you do have any question, reach out to me through the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them.